Heads up, Hobby Maniacs. Welcome to a new week. This is Monday, January 19th, and lots going on. All sorts of Necron rumors, and now we're hearing things over the weekend about new sisters, chaos rumors. The Thankful book's out, and it's pretty much amazing. It's, like I said, it's the Empire Strikes Back of the End Time saga. It's brutal. It's a brutal book. I shook my head at several points. It's an awesome book, so if you haven't picked it up and you're into fantasy, definitely take a look at that, or at least check out my video review, first look review and unboxing as well, because I think it's a good one. Yeah, a lot of people are going to enjoy that. So I guess I want to do something different for this daily update. I kind of wanted to maybe do a little bit of hobby stuff and then a little bit of kind of like news and rumors kind of thing about what's going on, what happened last week, get everybody caught up for the new week as we kind of roll into the big Necron release coming out here soon. So let's take a look at what's the latest on that front. Okay, so here's my latest hobby projects. A couple of Knight Cerastus Titans from Forge World, of course. These guys they're really great kits, amazing looking stuff. Here I have the shoulder pads separated from the actual models, because what I'll be doing is using some double-sided tape and sticking them to those sticks in order to airbrush them a little bit easier, and also just for holding and positioning and doing all sorts of hash marks and designs and things like that on them as well. So here's the Knight Akron. I kind of did them in I guess it's just kind of like a standing pose. I kind of tried to model it on the Scout Walker that just kind of pivots and then blasts a speeder from the sky. It's kind of a neat little pose from not Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. So that's what I did there. Now this guy was really interesting because I had to magnetize it, and the magnets are so big that I was worried about them pulling off, so I glued them and then I silicone sealed them with this is really some great stuff. It's Vallejo plastic putty. If you haven't used that yet, definitely check it out. It's great stuff. It dries very hard. You can sand it, you can trim it, you can cut through it. It just takes a little while to dry, but it's good to go after that. So I put those magnets in there, kind of did the same thing. You can kind of tell where I sealed around the sides as well as gluing it, just so you can do different poses and things like that on the actual Akron itself. On the side here, the feed I had to stretch out a little bit using a hot air gun, which was really interesting, and I just magnetized it and pinned it to the other arm, which I also magnetized at the joint here too as well. So this guy is he's about good to go. Got to get some coats of paint on him here shortly. Next up is the old Castigate Er model here. Now this guy's pretty dope. He's got that huge Gatler cannon, this sweet little sword. Although it's not a D weapon, it's still pretty cool in and of itself. I did this like nice striding pose here that was actually pretty difficult to do, to try to figure it out. It took a little while, but I knocked it out. Unfortunately, that side effect from that pose was that the actual molded ammo feed from the belt here, from the hopper I guess, to the actual gun wasn't gonna work. So I kind of came up with this Cat5 cable slash kind of double Cat5 cable kind of I guess conversion on the fly, and it seems to work out pretty well. It looks good. I'll seal it up and get some paint on it. It's pretty cool. It doesn't look exactly like the normal one, but once this is all painted and things like that, it won't obviously stand out like it is right there. So that's pretty much the model. Okay, so back to the top story from the weekend. Of course, Necrons are coming out. There's about 5 or 6 different releases for January 31st. Of course, the Necron Codex itself will be coming out. It looks to be, the same standard size as we've seen for all codexes. There's also the Necron Overlord model. It's the same model that was in the Shield of Baal books. If you remember, it's kind of like got this scythe and he's kind of like standing there. It looks really good. I'm super stoked to see it. If you don't remember what it looks like, you can definitely Google search for it. Shield of Baal Necron Lord. Super easy to find. Then there's the Tomb Awakens Army Box, which is pretty much just an Army Box release for them. It seems like Games Workshop's going more away from Battle Forces and doing their actual like a kind of a bigger Army Box, higher price point kind of thing, but still got some good stuff in it, and still a little bit of savings, etc. Then the Necron Codex Cryptek Edition, which looks really good. It's got some data slates in there, some mini data slates, kind of like what came with the Apocalypse book, but also some looks like brush steel coins, and of course, you know, you got the book itself, and then like some sort of collector artwork and things like that in there. So a lot of Blood Angels players a little miffed. You know, all they got was like the painting guide plus the codex, and this seems to be a lot better than that release, but you know, it is what it is. We can't predict these things. This one looks good. If you're into Necrons, you might want to pick this one up. And then of course there's the data cards coming out, I guess, for, you know, the Maelstrom objectives and things like that. Pretty standard release, you know, for every codex that's been redone and come out here in the past, like say since 7th edition. I guess it started with orcs. We had some sisters rumors, like I was saying. It looks like a couple different independent sources are saying new models in the codex. I'll believe it when I see it, but it would be definitely neat to see some plastic sisters, because hey, who wouldn't like some plastic sister models? I think we've been clamoring that for the past 10 to 15 years, right? Lots of Chaos Cult Space Marine rumors. We've heard that there's going to be a new Bloodthirster model, that it's sculpted by Jess Goodwin, that it'll be 3 different models all in one, and then we've also heard that there'll be some Chaos Corn Codex. It might be coming out in combination with N×5 Archeon, which is said to be in March. We don't really know exactly what's going on with that, but a lot of people are saying a lot of the same things, and they've been pretty reliable in the past. So who knows what we're going to see here come this late spring. Remember too, Games Workshop's fiscal year is up the end of May. May 31st is the last day of their fiscal year, so they're always trying to jam stuff in to, you know, to pad the numbers and make sales look good for that year end for them, which, you know, their year starts over on June 1st, which is also the time we always see the price adjustments or price increases, depending on how you want to look at it, around that time as well. For new releases this week, we saw the Skaven and Storm Vermin go on pre-order. They'll also be out this weekend. They're pretty good. I mean, it's $62 retail for 3 models that you can make as close combat weapon variants, or also come with weapon options. They look really good. They definitely remind me of Centurions. I won't even get into what I think. You know, people are like, "Well, you shouldn't say all that stuff. You shouldn't compare fantasy stuff to 40K." But hey, that's just what pops into my mind when I see it. I think it's a very good value kit for the money. You get tons of conversion parts, and if you happen to be making a Space Rat army, this is perfect for you, right? There's also a new Greyseer model, as well as a Skaven Warlord Clan Pact. It looks like Games Workshop's going away from, you know, the Finecast kind of deal, where we're not going to really see any of that in the future. It kind of started with the Dark Elves. We haven't really seen any Finecast since then, so I don't know. Is it time to hold a funeral for Finecast? It's hard to say at this point. Then we got some news out of Forge World, of course. There was some releases last Friday as well. We got some accessories for the Iron Warriors and Alpha Legion, some doors. Alpha Legion's got some shoulder pads. Admech got some Castellax. Kind of upgrade some different model, you know, different weapon options. Nothing exactly new, just kind of weapon option type deals. Today on Monday, we saw a preview for the new Stormhammer Super Heavy Tank that should be coming out here soon. I guess they're going to debut a bunch of stuff at Warhammer World. I think that's, I want to say, or is that Heresy Weekend? Yeah, it's Heresy Weekend, and I believe it's in February. So there definitely seems like they're saving up a lot of stuff for the next couple weeks, and they're just going to be dropping it all on us at once. So that would be definitely cool to see. In other news, as far as other manufacturers go, we saw Fantasy Flight put out a new cool ship, IG-88's aggressor ship, the IG-2000, was previewed, and it's got some really interesting mechanics as far as how it can turn and do some different things. It's a large ship. It actually has a K-turn, has a lot of high-speed maneuvers, I guess, owing to the fact that it's piloted by a robot and there's no gravity for him, I guess. That would make sense. It looks like a really interesting ship, and I can't wait to play it myself. We still are waiting on Star Wars Armada release, which was supposed to be this month, but we haven't seen it yet, as well as Star Wars Imperial Assault expansions to boot. Profiteer Press kind of showed off some stuff on their Twitter feed as well. It looked like I think it's called the Sacra Vault for the Gatorman Posse in Minions, where I think you can actually use it for a bunch of different things in Hordes, a bunch of different factions, as well as the Gatorman itself. And then there was another Jack that I think his name is Ruin. It's hard to say. I don't exactly know all of this stuff, but he looked pretty good. It looks like Kadar faction. Very cool looking model. I'm sure we'll see those in the near future for Privateer because they put stuff out all the time. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Make sure you stay in the trenches. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out the blog, spikybitsblog.com, and listen to our podcast, forgenarrative.com.